Namaskar. Hello, I'm Dipanjan Basu, Dipan or Dipanjan Anurna Basu, as I'm now known. Um, Also known as Khati Bangali. I run a page. I also run a page, Liberal Rationists. I will be posting these in all those places. Also, um, right now I'm doing the live from my own page, of course, rather on my own profile. I have come live for a very serious reason. Recently, in the last couple of days, the Citizenship Amendment Bill has been passed in India. First and foremost, the name, the Citizenship Amendment Bill. It sounds like some people are going to get citizenship out of it. Is it so? The word about citizenship is nowhere mentioned in the bill. I mean, there is nothing about granting citizenship to anybody in the bill. All it says uh, uh, all it speaks about is about refugees. It's about refugees, it's about people taking political asylum, it's about these people. It is not about citizenship. That's the first and foremost thing. So, the Citizenship Amendment Bill has recently been passed in the Lok Sabha, and it is going to come up in the Rajya Sabha of India, which is basically the upper house. So, I'm going to talk about this. First and foremost, when you think about it, citizenship is essentially about the people living in a country. A country is a geographical boundary. So it's about these people. Um, India, mind it, is a country of multiple ethnicities. It's kind of many nations in one country. It's also a country of many religions. India is a secular country. Remember, India is a secular country, I repeat. So, in a secular country with a secular constitution, uh, the first thing to be noted is you can't grant citizenship on the basis of religion. India's constitution also does say it. It doesn't mention anything about religion. So, the amendment bill, what does it really talk about? First and foremost, it talks about religion. That's the first issue with the Citizenship Amendment Bill. That it says persecuted Hindus, Buddhists, Parsis, Jains, and all other, it mentions almost every other religion except Muslims. Mind it, the word Muslim is not mentioned or Islam is not mentioned. So it mentions every religion, persecuted Hindus, persecuted Buddhists, and so on. Uh, all these people from countries which are other than India, which is like Afghanistan, Bangladesh, Pakistan, Bhutan, Nepal, and so on, they can come and take refuge in India. It talks about refugees. It has nothing to do with citizenship. Keep that in mind. That is very important. So these people, it's about these people coming to India and applying for citizenship after a period of time. Now, the if you go through it, if you read through it, first thing you'll notice is these people who come will be treated as refugees. These people who come and declare that they are persecuted outsiders, they are not Indians, so they basically kind of have to declare that they are persecuted, they are refugees, and they want refuge in India. Now, any kind of political asylum is granted and citizenship is granted after a period of time. In India, in the Citizenship Amendment Bill, it says 6 years. Now, a citizenship will be granted After 6 years, but not just like that, they have to apply for it. And when they apply for it, the district committee will be seeing whether they were really persecuted or not. I repeat, the district committee will be evaluating whether they were really persecuted or not. Now, that is actually important because how will they see it? You just can't, I mean, after 6 years, suppose I go to a country saying I'm persecuted. After 6 years, I have to prove that I was persecuted 6 years back. How? I'll tell you how this works for other countries. Countries where really persecution is happening, like for example Iraq, for example Syria. I mean, where the United Nations have come in the picture. I mean, they are basically sending these people um, to different countries, maybe in Europe, maybe in the US, maybe in Canada, maybe in many countries. Now, when they take in refugees, I mean, they basically see some kind of persecution report. How do you see it? Maybe you it's not the thought of persecution, okay? You have to show maybe somebody attacked you and you raised a police complaint regarding that. Somebody set your house on fire, you raised a complaint regarding that. uh, Somebody may kill a member of your family, so you will raise an FIR, a proper complaint, a police complaint, and you will keep a copy of it. This proves you were persecuted, mind it, and you carry this with you in the when you go to a different country, when you are when you have no choice but to leave your home and go to a different country, you are supposed to show these document that proves you're persecuted. Now, when we think of these people who are being granted kind of political asylum, as they are saying, it is not political asylum. I'll come to it. It is not political asylum because most of the people whom they are talking about, I mean, there's a BJP, RSS are claiming, the union government is claiming, even the Assam government is claiming, and so many others who have not read through the bill are claiming that the people, the Bengalis, left uh, out of the NRC, out of the National Register of Citizens in Assam, they are kind of being granted citizenship through this. It's absolute nonsense. It's absolute nonsense because people whose names have not featured in NRC, they are in general, most of them have voter cards. They are already citizens of India. Around 30,000 people only had issues with voter cards, and again those are maybe address issues or photo issues or something like that sort. So the 40 lakh whose names don't feature in NRC, that is a complete matter altogether. They had to give evidences that their family or they themselves held land in Assam, in present Assam, not in fact the Assam which used to be in 1971. In present Assam, they had property or land or something which can be called like real estate or something. In 1971, they were owners of that. Most people can't show that because most of them are poor. The people who are rich actually went through. The poor ones suffered. Who else suffered? People who cannot give land documents, they were asked if they have school certificates, if their parents had school certificates. If your father or mother has passed away, are you going to keep their picture or their school certificate? Thinking that one day, after 50 years, 1971 is 48 years back, just reminding, after 50 years, my country will ask me that you are not a citizen. What did your father pass his schooling from this land? If you cannot give that evidence, you are not a citizen of India. You didn't keep it, right? I didn't. I can't prove my father studied in India. I can prove I studied in India, but I'm not from 1971. I'm a citizen of India. I was born way after 1971, but I don't have my father's birth certificate. I can't prove it. Most of you cannot prove it. So these proofs were asked for, and this led to 40,000 people, out of them 40 lakh people, out of them 38 lakh being Bengalis, homeless as non-citizens. 3,000 in detention camps, which are just like concentration camps of Nazi Germany. There, even patients are kept handcuffed. Yes, they, just like criminals. Mostly Bengalis, who do not feature in citizenship bill because they could not provide documents, or their documents did not match with the authorities. Suppose my name is Dipanjan, uh, is DIP, their documents have DEEP. I would be a doubtful voter. I might end up in a detention camp just because of a spelling mistake. Yes, that is how bad it is for Bengalis in Assam. So, coming back to the original point about citizenship bill now. Now, these people, these NRC deprived people, these Bengalis, mostly is Bengalis because the uh, the Gorkhas, the Hindi speakers, and of course the Assamese. Assamese have been marked as original inhabitants. Their names cannot feature there. It has been declared, which again is another matter altogether because Assamese are not the original inhabitants of that land. Bengalis are. But coming back, uh, Gorkhas, Hindi speakers, the Indian government has said Gorkhas, Hindi speakers will not be kicked out of India, will not suffer due to NRC. They will be brought back to the citizenship list, to the NRC, with full honors, just like any other citizen of India. Who is left? Bengalis, of course, 38 lakhs. And they're all genuine citizens. This is important. So, after 6 years, they can apply, but they have to prove they came. So, first of all, you have to, you're a citizen. Your name doesn't feature in the NRC. You are told your support is the Citizenship Amendment Bill, that you are demoted from being a citizen to being a refugee again after decades, many decades, and you have to bank on this. After 6 years, for 6 years, you are not a voter. You don't hold much rights actually. I mean, you will be treated just like a refugee, just like Rohingyas are treated in India or Bangladesh. You will be treated like that. You're a refugee, and that's not very well. That's the first thing. So, just a moment. Yeah. So, coming back, will be quite mistreated actually. You wouldn't have much of rights any citizen in India has. And once you lose them, then you are told you have to bank on the Citizenship Amendment Bill, and after 6 years, assuming you pass those 6 years without getting jobs, without doing any schooling, I mean, your children can't go to school, for example, without doing a lot of things, you are still surviving there, assuming that, you have to prove that you fled due to religious persecution. which means you have to give that proof that 40 years, 50 years, 20 years, 70 years back, somebody attacked your house, somebody killed some member of your family, and you ran away. You have to give that proof. That proves your persecution. If you cannot prove that, you will not get citizenship. First and foremost, if you cannot prove that, you cannot get citizenship. You have to prove after 6 years that there was this police case, there was this attack in your house, there was this attack on your family member, on you, and that is how you prove you were persecuted. Not by saying, okay, this thing, NRC thing was happening, so I thought I will just claim that I am a Bangladeshi, um, I am a Pakistani, I'm a Bhutanese, and after 6 years I'll just claim citizenship. No, it doesn't work like that. After 6 years, you still remain a refugee if you cannot prove you're persecuted. The word persecuted has been added just for that. For political asylums, you have to prove in different countries. When you move to a country and apply for citizenship, you have to prove you're really persecuted. I'll just go through the points. So most people actually change their countries, have moved borders, not because of this. Yes, some were actually persecuted like this, some got scared. If there, just like in 1960s, there was Bengal Khedao in Assam. Bengalis were driven out of Assam. People talk a lot about Kashmiri Pandits and all in 90s, but hardly anybody talks about Bengal Khedao in 1960s. Are we second-class citizens, Bengalis? Only Urdu speakers or Hindi speakers, their lives matter more. What about Bengal Khedao? Those people who left in 1960s because Assamese attacking their houses and attacking their friends' houses, they were, maybe I wasn't attacked, for example, if I'm such a person, I'm not, for the record. If I'm such a person, I wasn't attacked, but my neighbor was attacked, so I also left. Because tomorrow I may be attacked. So I left in 1960s and I came to Assam. In 2019, I have to prove in 1960 there was an attack on me. If I cannot prove, I was a citizen all these years, for decades. If I cannot prove now there was an attack on me then, I am deemed to be a foreigner. I am not a citizen. I will forever remain a refugee. Even after 6 years, I will remain a refugee. Coming back. So, you cannot prove. Also, to be kept in mind, the district committee, they won't be much human either. Because the district committee comprises of the same people who want this NRC. It's the same Assamese people. It will not go to some kind of an impartial committee who will judge your case based on merit. It will not go to them. It will not go to a centralized committee. It will not go to an all party, all state committee or something to see the matter in a human way on behalf of India. No, it is going to your district committee. It's the same people who will be evaluating your case. So you're deemed a refugee almost forever, and no other country is taking you. Mind it. Now you have declared, I'm not a citizen, hoping you will get citizenship after 6 years. I'm a Bangladeshi. You have declared, but you couldn't prove your case. When you couldn't prove your case after 6 years, you're declared as a Bangladeshi, but India doesn't have a deportation agreement with Bangladesh also. Bangladesh has officially declared, India has officially declared they are not deporting anybody. Bangladesh has officially declared that none of their citizens are in India at present, they are not taking back anybody. Not that they ever sent them. That's the first thing. They're not so they have nothing to do with it. Modi went and spoke to Sheikh Hasina a few months back, and he clearly said Bangladesh need not worry about NRC because it is India's internal matter. So basically, the internal matter means nobody is getting deported. No, people are just losing citizenship. So India is creating lakhs and lakhs of second-class citizens, or rather second-class residents. They are not citizens actually, who wouldn't get jobs, who can't send their children to school, who can't do most things a citizen can do. Just think about it for a moment. Second point, citizenship bill does not, I repeat, does not talk about D-voters. It does not talk about detention camps. It does not even mention NRC. So it is assuming everybody who is staying in India, whose citizenship is in doubt, is a refugee. What about D voters who do have citizenship? It doesn't mention. So D voters will remain D voters if they don't apply through the citizenship amendment bill. They will remain D voters. Detention camps will remain. Uh, the union government, headed by Modi, of course, sadly, they have approved another detention camp. They have released 65 crore rupees for it. So another detention camp is coming up with those 65 crore rupees. At the same time, the citizenship bill is coming up. So try to understand. They are claiming all these people who are persecuted. At the other end, they're going to detention camp, which is like the one of the Nazi camp only. For years and years, no time, just because they are Bengalis, they're non-Assamese, with handcuffs in their hand. Even when you can see pictures on the net with people, a saline is running, and still there is a handcuff. And this person is not a criminal. This person's only crime, he's a Bengali in Assam. So all these people first have to accept that they are not citizens. These D voters, whatever they are fighting for, try to understand when does a person get declared a D voter? Because when the person does have a voter ID card, the union government says they cannot match the data, so they reject their voter ID card. Now the person is fighting a case, maybe in court. Now the person has to come out and declare, okay, I made a mistake. I will not fight the case anymore. They have to take back the case. I'm actually a Bangladeshi. The center is right. My voter ID card is fake. So the person comes down from his claim of being a citizen and actually calls himself Bangladeshi, and then go through citizenship amendment bill. He won't be driven out. But after 6 years, he can't, or he won't be able to prove that he was persecuted as a Bangladeshi decades back, many decades back. So he's actually becomes a foreigner in India, a citizen for maybe 40 years, 50 years. Secondly, divides on the basis of religion. It does not, if it's about only persecuted people, why no mention of Ahmadiyas? Ahmadiyas, if you think about India, the union government gave the excuse that India has a lot of Muslim countries around it, so the persecuted people, I mean, usually won't be Muslims. That is a very cliched logic because Ahmadiyas are really persecuted in a lot of Muslim countries. There's no mention of them. basically is a communal exercise. It's handpicks people who are non-Muslims, and it handpicks people who are actually living in India all this while, mostly Bengalis, and it brings them to second class residents. I will not use the word citizens, second class residents, because they are no longer citizens. They will not have any jobs for these 6 years. After that also, if they prove they might get, I'll still come to it, they will still not get. But if they don't, if we cannot prove, they will not get ever. But even before that, for these 6 years, they won't get proper white collar jobs. They won't have any voting rights. They already had, now they won't have any voting rights. They can't take their children to school. Most schools will not take them. There is a clause then mentioned called externment. It's kind of a deportation. I'll come to it. There's a clause mentioned called externment. Why? Then we have to match the citizenship bill with the Assam Accord. Now, what's the Assam Accord? The Assam Accord is basically the agreement which basically when Assamese were constantly murdering, butchering Bengalis across the 60s, 70s, 80s, to save the Bengali lives, the murderers and the Union Government of India came into a pact. The murderous organization, the terrorist organization was called ASU, All Assam Students Union. One of their leaders was Sarbananda Sonowal, the current CM of Assam. Ponder over it again. The current CM of Assam. He was an ASU leader. Now this terrorist organization basically butchered many Bengalis, drove out many Bengalis, lakhs of Bengalis. They moved to Tripura, they moved to West Bengal, they moved to various parts of India, and these people saved their lives. The people who could not save their lives were the people who were butchered in, say, massacres like Nelly massacre, where thousands of Bengalis were butchered in matters of hours. Read up. If you don't know, go to Wikipedia and read up Nelly massacre. Read about Nelly massacre. Now, throughout the 80s, this happened. In 1985, Assam Accord was signed. Assam Accord was signed between Union government and the butchers, and there a very strange thing was mentioned, that anybody who comes to Assam, or Assam, the geographical boundary called Assam, at any present time, at any given time, sorry, after 1971 will be deported. Yes. Assam Accord says anybody who goes to Assam after 1971, 25th March, cannot stay in Assam. So, where does the citizenship bill come? Citizenship bill is talking about granting citizenship, actually no. Giving refugee status, maybe yes. To people who are already living in India as citizens, they're giving them refugee status. But if it is proven that they came after 1971, that is the people whose name might not have appeared in NRC, even though they were voters all these decades, they now, the Assam Accord comes into picture, they now cannot live in Assam. They have to leave Assam. That is why the externment clause has been put in the Citizenship Amendment. Externment clause is talking about it cannot be in Assam, because Assam Accord does not allow it. They will be split up, they will be spread across India in various states. It's basically to break the backbone of their protest, their fight for their rights to divide and rule. We talk about British dividing and ruling till 1947. Well, Hindustanis and Assamese are dividing and ruling in India. And their favorite punching bag, their favorite target are Bengalis. It's to take away their fighting strength. It's basically a demotion from current citizenship to future refugee status forever, who will not have voting rights, who will not go to school, who will not get jobs. Coming back, it's to just, I'll just go through it again. Yes. Now, Assam Accord talks about a lot of other matters also, like reservation for Assamese, especially the sixth point in the accord. It talks about even if areas are swarmed by, where, or should I say, where the majority is are non-Assamese, and it is quite normal for Assam to have a majority of non-Assamese people in a particular location. I'm coming to it. It says, even if the majority is non-Assamese in a place, but if that particular giant area has one Assamese village, a panchayat or something is present, the voter, sorry, the the election candidate who can stand for elections has to be Assamese there. And this has nothing to do with Citizenship Amendment Bill, or rather, I shouldn't say this has nothing to do with. It has no impact from the Citizenship Amendment Bill, because Citizenship Amendment Bill does not secure the rights of non-Assamese here. It will not get impacted by Indian citizenship laws. It doesn't get impacted by anything. Simply, maybe a place is 90% Bengali, but there is one Assamese tiny village in that area. A Bengali cannot fight elections there. That is what it says. It's in the Assam Accord. It is coming into prominence right now, because it is important. Why I'm bringing this up? Assam Accord has been there for years, but recently Narendra Modi had gone to Assam, to Silchar. Silchar is the prime location of Barak Valley. The Assam is of two parts, mostly Barak Valley, Brahmaputra Valley. So Barak Valley is Bengali dominated, Brahmaputra Valley is Assamese dominated. But there is a huge Bengali population even in Brahmaputra Valley. Barak Valley, there is very little population of Assamese. So he had mentioned this, that they will bring in reservations for Assamese there. In Barak Valley, he has said. So you can understand this by no means is what do they call it? Jamla. It is not that. It is not a poetical sloganing or anything. It's not just a tidbit. If it would have been if they said it in Brahmaputra Valley, they said it in Barak Valley. In the Bengali area, he went and says he went and declared Assamese reservations. So it's definitely gonna happen, or they'll definitely try to make it happen. Um, Now, I was speaking a little while ago about Assam resident doesn't exactly mean Assamese. That's because Assamese don't even make the majority of Assam population. They roughly come around 45% or so. And that includes a lot of Bengali Muslims uh, who, due to the persecution after Nelly massacre, signed up in signed up as Assamese Muslims, thinking they would be saved because of that. And it is true, they were saved to a certain extent because the NRC has mostly Hindus. The NRC rejected are mostly Hindus. 40 lakhs have are out of NRC. Out of them, 38 lakhs are Bengalis. The 2 lakhs who are not Bengalis, they will mostly be saved, like the Gurkhas and the Hindi speakers and all Hindustanis. Now the 38 lakhs, 28 lakh, a little more than that, are Bengali Hindus. Rest are Muslims. So these people are the ones who are actually not saved. The Bengali Hindus, a lot of them actually declared their language as Assamese just to save their lives. Actual Assamese population is even less than that, below that 45%. Roughly comes to around 30% or so. But we will take the 45% as good for now only because that's the official figure. Bengalis amount to close to 40% of Assam. Yes. Bengalis amount to close to 40% of Assam. Assam has 3.3 crore people. Out of them, close to 1.5 crore are Bengalis. And you can understand, by no means is an Assamese speaking state. Like Assamese and Bengalis are almost same in number, and there are some Hindustanis, there are some Gurkhas and other communities, some other tribals and all. But it's never so, and it's not so because Assam, unlike Bengal, unlike Gujarat, unlike Tamil Nadu, unlike Karnataka, unlike Punjab, and unlike so many other states, was not formed on the basis of language. That is of utmost importance because of 1947 partition. During 1947 partition, places like Goalpara, which is basically a home of Bengali Muslims, places like Barak Valley, which has mostly Bengalis, both Hindus and Muslims, these, because they fell on the right hand side of East Bengal, which joined Pakistan in 47, they could not be added, or they were not added to the state of West Bengal. So they were added to Assam. It was a logistical decision. It was fine. But actually it wasn't. These are Bengali regions. These should ideally be maybe a part of West Bengal, or maybe form another state like Northeast Bengal, Ishan Bangla as they say, or an East Bengal or whatever. It should not be part of Assam. And if it is, it's fine. If it can be, then they being almost half the population, you cannot call Assamese only original inhabitants. Means you make them second class in their own land because they are living there forever. They are not new migrants. They have been living there before 47. These people, like Goalpara, Barak Valley people, they have been living there through 71 and even now. Their citizenship under question. And now they have to say, I'm sorry, they have to say that they are Bangladeshi and seek refuge in a country where they are already citizens for decades and for centuries. It's sad. It's very sad. My country has declared I don't belong to it after decades, after centuries. So, coming back, Assamese, Assamese reservations, as promised by Assam Accord, will be brought as Modi had promised, and even Barak Valley will not have a Bengali MLA or a Bengali MP or a Bengali councillor, which is Bengali majority, which has around 50 lakh people. It won't have Bengali people standing for elections because it has 6 or 7 Assamese villages. Out of lakhs of people, a few hundred or a few thousand are Assamese. I mean Assamese speaking. I don't mean Assamese. They are all Assamese as a part of the state, but Assamese speaking. So because of these people are staying there, in Barak Valley also, a Bengali cannot stand for elections. It is gonna be that bad. Because of this reservation, this 80% reservation which is going to come up, that is the proposal. This majority will fight for 20% of those places. 20% of places in schools, 20% places in jobs, 20% places for trade licenses, not business either, for trade licenses, and 20% for elections also. In those areas, minded. In other areas where there is Assamese, you know what, coming back. So, and this has been declared by Himanta Biswa Sharma only. Himanta Biswa Sharma has clearly declared this, that even in Barak Valley, they will field Assamese candidates henceforth. They will not allow Bengali candidates to field. And this includes, mind it, we were talking about NRC, we were talking about detention camps, we were talking about D voters, what else? Detention camp, D voters, foreign tribunals, people whose cases are in foreign tribunals, for example. We were talking about these people, but this reservation affects everybody. So you're a province citizen through NRC, and that is also a huge amount. It's close to 1 lakh people. It's around 1 lakh people who are proven to be citizens of India. 1 lakh Bengalis. Even these 1 lakh Bengalis can get only 20% of those places, which means you deprive them of their citizenship rights, proper citizenship rights, not just by name. The places in schools, the places in colleges, the places in jobs, the trade licenses for businesses, for the right to fight elections, and so many other things. These declared citizens are also second-class citizens, and the people who say that I'm going to be a refugee, I am no longer a citizen, I don't know who will help them. So another point, this reservation is going to come up as per your surname, not as per your choice of language in the last time when they took the census, for example. it is not as per that. It is as per your surname. They have designated surnames which they will be giving reservations for, and it covers almost every Assamese speaking people. It covers every Assamese, as one of my friends pointed out. Even the Supreme Court Chief Justice is eligible for an Assamese Scheduled Tribe certificate, Ranjan Gogoi, who incidentally have also been co- receiving all the cases of NRC, is deciding on all the cases of NRC for the last 12 years. Coincidence? Normally, because Supreme Court has more than 20 judges. So, ideally, on a random way, there's a 5% chance that an Assamese person will get an Assamese case. Right, a case related to Assam. But coincidentally, it's almost 100%. He's uh, not questioning anything. What do I say? Not questioning his integrity or anything, but the coincidence is a bit too shocking to accept. That's all I'm gonna say. And this is the same person who had questioned with the other three judges, together there were four judges, about rostering of cases. They had questioned the previous Chief Justice, Deepak Mishra, regarding the case roster. They were saying select case by going to selected people. He was one of the people who had protested. What irony. Never mind. He's gonna be an Assamese scheduled tribe after his retirement, so he will also get reservations in some other jobs. So Bengalis will fight for those 10%, 20% remaining seats. And these Bengalis who have been living there forever, who have come here before 1951, who have definitely come here before 71, they are also affected through this. Refugee in their own country. So you can understand there is a major conflict between the Assam Accord and the Citizenship Bill. Assam Accord says people who are non-Assamese who came after 71 cannot live in Assam. Citizenship Bill grants refugee status. Coming back to that point, externment. Now, join the dots. These people, as declared by multiple politicians, these people are gonna be made refugees in their own land. These are residents of Assam. They are voters of Assam. They will be blinded Bangladeshi, and they're gonna lose their citizenship. They're gonna lose their jobs, and they will not lose their right to protest. They will lose their right to stay in their own homes because they lose their lands also. Assam Accord tells them they cannot. If you are not an Assamese and you came after 71, you don't hold any right to stay there in Assam. So they will be deported. Now that they've accepted their Bangladeshi, they will be deported out of Assam like a refugee to other parts of India. They all states are expected to share this group of people, and they will be deported to other parts of India. So you're taking political asylum by actually being discriminated in one state of your country, and you are deported to other states and you lose all the land you held in that country, you lose all the jobs you held in that country, all the right in the state, rights you in the state. Of course, Assam doesn't have any voting rights, so means you lose Indian citizenship rights and all. So you will live in a ghetto, in a slum, in camps in various states, maybe in Chhattisgarh, maybe in Haryana, maybe in Maharashtra, maybe in Bengal, maybe in Uttar Pradesh. And when you go there, after losing everything, including your own self respect, when you go there, Madhya Pradesh has declared 80% of their own residents getting jobs. Maharashtra has declared declared Marathis too as a reserve category. In Gujarat, same scenario. So they have already given almost all their jobs, all their rights to their own people. And maybe the Gujaratis living in Maharashtra, maybe the uh, non-Hindi speakers living in Madhya Pradesh, who are genuine citizens, uh, they are also fighting. You have to go there as a refugee and fight with them for the limited resources. Try to understand. They are already in a bit of a in quite a spot of bother, and you go there as a refugee. You're not even a citizen anymore. After the Citizenship Amendment Bill, you're a refugee. You go there, you fight for rights. You fight for rights to work and all. You fight for rights to go to school, and lastly, you fight. Probably we'll have to fight for rights to eat, just like people did in 1947. One